This hearing got brutal fast. Jacky Rosen looked Pete Hegseth straight in the eye and called him out with questions he clearly didn't want to answer. The tension shot through the room, the smirks disappeared, and within seconds the entire exchange turned into a public takedown. You need to see what happened next.
Senator Rosen, you're recognized. I thought I would just create a stir down there.
No, I thank you to my seatmates on both sides. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We take care of each other. And again, thank you, Chairman Wicker, Ranking Member Reed, for holding this hearing. Mr. Secretary, we have a short amount of time, so I'm just going to ask a few simple questions, and I would just appreciate if for some of them, you would just answer yes or no. And so, Secretary Hegseth, would you agree that every senior official in the Department of Defense must reflect the values and conduct that our service members must uphold and our citizens expect?
Senator, we want to uphold the highest possible standards.
I'll take that for a yes. So would you also agree, then, that anti-Semitism and anti-Semitic conspiracy theories have no place in our government or military? Yes or no?
They should not.
Thank you. So would you also agree that anyone who has posted, and I'm going to quote, anti-Semitic conspiracy theories lifted right out of a neo-Nazi playbook, end quote, shouldn't be anywhere near a position of power? Yes or no?
Since I don't believe the characterization of many officials in the news media, I would need to see precisely what's being characterized.
But generally, would you not say that if we thought something was coming out of a neo-Nazi playbook, it doesn't have any place in our Department of Defense? Now, Secretary Hegseth, the quote that I just read you was referencing Ms. Kingsley Wilson, the DOD press secretary. It's a direct quote from her, who my Republican colleagues on this committee have also expressed alarm over due to her comments. In fact, one colleague said, and I'm going to quote again, "Obviously, I don't agree with her comments. I trust the Pentagon will address this," end quote. However, in the months since, not only have you not addressed these anti-Semitic comments, you have promoted Ms. Wilson. This seems to be at odds, honestly, with President Trump's commitment, very public commitment, to combat anti-Semitism, which you just said you too agreed with. So, Secretary Hegseth, given the rise in anti-Semitic violence, hate crimes in our nation, and to show that the Trump administration, your administration, does have a zero-tolerance policy for anti-Semitism, will you dismiss Ms. Kingsley from her role as a U.S. military spokesperson today, yes or no?
Again, that's why I referenced the context and characterization.
Well, we'll send you the quote,
I've worked
sir.
directly with her. She does a fantastic job, and there's any suggestion that I or her or others are party to anti-Semitism is a mischaracterization attempting to win political points.
Sir, and I'm going to say
Senator,
that
you're
your
attempting to
lack
win
of an
political
answer
points on the backs of
confirms what we've
mischaracterizing the
known all
statements of a
along.
member
The Trump
of my
administration
department,
is not serious.
and I'm not going to stand for that.
You are not a serious person. You are not serious about rooting out, fighting anti-Semitism within the ranks of our DOD. It's despicable. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. I'm going to move on to General Hawk. The sudden inexplicable dismissal of General Hawk. He serves both the director of the National Security Agency, commander of U.S. Cybercom. It's deeply concerning, raises significant questions about the decision-making process, its potential consequences. Public reports indicate that the removal of General Hawk, who has served his country proudly, has been influenced by social media influencer, a personality on social media, Laura Loomer, spreads conspiracy theories. She's been denounced even by Republicans. And the idea is that any leaders within our agencies responsible for our nation's security, somebody would be dismissed based on the advice of a social media influencer, is alarming to say the least. It's surely not how we should be running our military. So were you consulted regarding General Hawk's dismissal, yes or no?
Well, Senator, I would not advise believing everything you read in the media. And I'm consulted on every single decision.
Okay,
I'm the decision maker for the department, and we all serve at the pleasure of the president. And
so
we have the prerogative to make those decisions for the best for the country.
Did you
and we did
personally
that.
approve Mr. Hawk's dismissal, yes or no?
Anyone coming or going at the
approve
Defense
it.
Department, especially at that level, would ultimately be a decision made by me, and I stand behind that.
Did you personally relieve him? Did you personally relieve him? Yes or
Anyone
no?
at that level
You did,
who is
so that's a
relieved
yes.
would be relieved by the Secretary of Defense.
Was there a specific justification for General Hawk's dismissal? Was there a specific justification for General Hawk's dismissal?
Ma'am, we all serve at the pleasure of the president, and the president deserves the type of commanders and advisors that he thinks will best equip him to accomplish the mission.
Did you discuss General Hawk's dismissal with Laura Loomer prior to his removal?
I don't discuss who I talk about anything with, but ultimately this is my decision, and he serves at the pleasure of the president, and that's why he's no longer there.
So do you believe it's appropriate for any social media personality to influence personnel decisions in your department, yes or no?
I believe your time is up, Senator.
Oh, it is not up to you to tell me when my time is up.
Well, the time
And I am going to say, Mr. Secretary, you're either feckless or complicit. You're not in control of your department. You're unserious. It is shocking. You're not combating anti-Semitism within your ranks. It's a dangerous and pivotal time in our nation's history. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back. And I don't appreciate the smirk, sir. You are the Secretary of Defense.
The time of the gentlelady has expired.
The exchange between Senator Jacky Rosen and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was one of those moments in a congressional hearing that cuts through the usual rehearsed talking points and exposes deeper problems in leadership and accountability. Rosen's questioning focused on issues that should concern anyone who believes the Pentagon must operate with professionalism, discipline, and moral clarity. Yet instead of addressing those concerns head-on, Hegseth appeared evasive and dismissive, leaning on vague responses and procedural deflections rather than offering straightforward answers. That approach might work in political commentary or television debates, but it looks deeply inadequate when the subject is the leadership of the U.S. Department of Defense. One of the most troubling aspects of the exchange was Rosen's attempt to address allegations of anti-Semitic rhetoric connected to a senior Pentagon communications official. The issue she raised was not partisan politics. It was about whether the Defense Department maintains clear standards against hate, extremism, and conspiracy-driven rhetoric. In an institution responsible for representing the United States around the world and commanding the trust of millions of service members, the answer should have been simple and unequivocal. Instead, Hegseth resisted engaging with the substance of the concern, which only reinforced the perception that he was unwilling to confront the issue directly. Rosen's frustration grew even sharper when the discussion turned to reports that high-level national security personnel decisions may have been influenced by outside political figures and social media personalities. The idea that the leadership of intelligence or defense institutions could be shaped by such outside pressures is alarming in any administration. When Rosen asked whether those reports were accurate and whether Hegseth had consulted with such figures, he again declined to give clear answers. For a Secretary of Defense, ambiguity on questions of command authority and decision-making is not reassuring. It suggests either a lack of transparency or a lack of control. Perhaps the most revealing moment came when Rosen openly challenged what she perceived as Hegseth's dismissive attitude during the hearing. Her remark about not appreciating his smirk captured the broader tone of the exchange. A senator demanding accountability and a cabinet official appearing unwilling to engage seriously with the concerns being raised. Leadership at the Pentagon requires more than ideological conviction or political loyalty. It demands steadiness, credibility, and a clear commitment to ethical standards that transcend partisan battles. When those qualities appear absent or even questioned, it undermines confidence not just in one official, but in the integrity of the entire institution he leads. In the end, the hearing left the impression that the Pentagon deserves leadership that treats oversight with seriousness rather than deflection, and that the stakes of national security are far too high for anything less.